All right, let's dive right into one of the most fascinating and, let's be honest, controversial topics in the crypto world. You hear a lot of numbers get thrown around, but there's one number in particular that has sparked this incredible firestorm of both hope and, well, a ton of skepticism. It's the key to the whole Pi Network story.
It all boils down to this one single number, $314,159. Seriously, this figure is right at the center of a massive debate, and it has the entire Pi community absolutely buzzing. But what in the world does it actually mean?
You heard that right. That's not the market cap of the whole network. That's the supposed value of one single Pi coin. So, the first question on everyone's mind is, how? How could a digital coin, one that you can't even trade on a public exchange, possibly get a price tag that's higher than a house in a lot of places?
Well, the answer comes from this really unique economic model that basically flips the entire idea of crypto valuation on its head. It's called the Global Consensus Value, or GCV. And you need to know this has absolutely nothing to do with the usual market forces that decide the price of something like Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Okay, so at its heart, the GCV model is a pretty radical idea. See, instead of the value being kicked around by volatile trading on exchanges, the community of Pi users, they call themselves pioneers, they all collectively agree on a fixed value. They've decided to peg one Pi at that $314,000 mark. The whole belief system here is that value isn't something you discover on the market, it's something you create through agreement.
So how is this all supposed to work in the real world? First off, the GCV is fixed to that US dollar value. The model says it's unchangeable. That's rule number one. Second, if you want to convert Pi to, say, euros or yen, that conversion rate depends only on how the euro or yen is doing against the dollar. The idea is that Pi's value stays rock solid. It's the traditional currencies that are bouncing around. And to enforce all of this, the network plans to use something called the Euler's Shield algorithm, which kind of acts like a digital rulebook, making sure every transaction happens at that exact GCV price.
To really wrap your head around just how massive this proposal is, let's see what happens when this value gets applied around the world. What does one Pi coin actually look like when you start talking about euros or yen or the Korean won?
This is where the numbers just get staggering. I mean, look at this. One Pi coin becomes around 289,000 euros. But then you go to South Korea and it just explodes to over 408 million won. In Japan, you're talking over 47 million yen for a single coin. It doesn't matter what currency you use, the value is just enormous. And it's all anchored to that one single consensus-driven number in US dollars.
So you can imagine, with numbers flying around like that, the excitement is pretty high. What's the ultimate vision here? What's the dream for the millions of people who've been tapping that button on their phones for years now? The dream, as its biggest supporters will tell you, is the chance for life-changing opportunities for early adopters. The vision is actually pretty simple. If the Pi network can get integrated into the global economy, and if businesses actually start accepting Pi at the super high, stable value, well, it could create incredible wealth for the millions of pioneers who got in on the ground floor. It's a vision of a totally new kind of decentralized finance.
But okay, whenever you hear a claim that revolutionary, you're gonna get some pushback. A valuation this ambitious naturally brings up some really tough questions, and you have to understand the other side of this coin, so to speak.
And this is where you get the real conflict, the real tug of war at the heart of the Pi network. On one side, you have this incredible promise of massive wealth through a stable, community-driven currency. But on the other side, you've got this giant question mark from the critics. What is something actually worth if you can't sell it? They argue that without being listed on a public exchange like Coinbase or Binance, the GCV isn't real-world value. It's just a big theoretical number inside a closed system.
So in the end, the Pi network is this fascinating, high-stakes economic experiment. Is it the future of finance? A brand new way to create value that's based on human agreement instead of wild market speculation? Or is it a digital fantasy, a closed loop with a huge number attached to it that doesn't really mean anything in the real world? For now, figuring out if this is truly revolutionary or just a fantasy, that remains the unresolved $314,159 question.